guys, this is John Nelson, and you're listening to the Starting Block Podcast. Guys, this is the show for athletic development. The objective here is to give you the tools to win, whether you're the athlete, the parent, or the coach. As always, I'm here with my co-host, Chris Scarborough. What's up, man? How are you?
Hey, good afternoon, guys.
Guys, if you're new to the show, welcome. What, you got something else to say there, Chris?
I was just going to say Happy New Year. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
This is first January 2nd, 2026.
I don't know if this will be our first episode release this year or the second one, but either way, Happy New Year, everybody. Hope y'all are doing great. We're a little rusty here, so let's get through this intro. Guys, if you're new to the show, welcome. I appreciate you joining. As always, we operate differently than your standard podcast. Guys, we have multiple shows within the show. So first, you're going to get a Q&A from us. That's going to be where we tackle the questions y'all submit to us, and that can be anything about training, the rehab, the neuro stuff, anything that we've talked about in the past. Happy to tackle that. You can reach me at Coach John ELP on Instagram. Chris, where can they get you?
Fast and Agile 49.
Yep. Episode 2 is going to be a guest interview. That's going to be just like every other podcast on the planet. It's what we got today, and we'll bring our guests on here in just a second. Because it's an opportunity to network and learn from people that we believe share the same core value and mission that we do. And then we'll also do some guest interviews as well throughout 2026. Hopefully we'll get a little better at that than what we have been in the past. I think I got a couple coming down the pipeline for us. And guys, all we ask is that if you got value out of this, please share the show. That's really all we ask. We don't run ads on the show. There is no click the link in the bio to download my free ebook or course coming from us right here. So, man, just share the show. That's all we ask. I think that covers it. So, without further ado, we got our boys David Buer and Elijah Holyfield back. What's up, guys?
Always welcome, a pleasure guys. To be here.
How we doing?
Good, man. Good.
Great to see you guys.
Like we were talking, guys, we have had some recording issues today. Shocking. But I'm on an iPad, so if we struggle, if the quality's low, I apologize. We'll make it right like we always do. But we're going to try to wing it and get this thing done. So, yeah, man, we got a lot to talk about.
Yep.
Elijah, first off, what have you been up to, man? How are you? It's been a minute.
I've been very good since the last time we talked. I've switched directions career path-wise. I'm no longer playing football. I'm actually in the WWE. So that's been very exciting. So I've been doing this for about exactly a year, like a year and a couple of months now. So kind of finding my groove with everything in that, and then looking forward to some big things in 2026.
Yeah, awesome. Bro, that's awesome. So happy for you. That's a different world, man. Like, yeah. I haven't been there myself, so I can't really speak on it. But I mean, I see the stuff you post, and yeah, I think we've all probably seen the shows and stuff on it. But I think one of the things you always hear about is like how intense it is. Like,
yeah. Yes, a bit of a mixture of everything you kind of ever done before, like dating back to where you were a kid to all the way till now. So it kind of embodies everything. It kind of talking, all the athletics, what I'm saying, all the falling, all the getting hit, all the hitting people. It's just like a big whirlwind of everything I've done in my life. So it's a little bit of football, but a lot more other stuff as well.
So when you making it to the big stage? Is that coming up down the pipeline soon?
Hopefully soon. Like I said, hopefully some big stuff coming in 2026. So I'm excited to let it all play out.
Sweet.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think boys,
and you guys are about to start shooting the third season of the show, right?
Yes. All that stuff will be.
What's the show, man?
I was on the first 2 seasons of a show called WWE LFG. It's Legends and Future Greats. So I was on 2 seasons, then actually got cut short in the second season. So we'll be back for the third. So we start shooting that and getting everything ready for that. So it should be very, 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 very good.
Nice.
In season 1, he was on the Undertaker's team. He was mentored by the Undertaker, and that's really exciting. If you've grown up, watching the WWE, I mean, that's as big of a name as it gets.
Oh, absolutely, man. The Undertaker was my favorite. Always. I grew up love to watch him.
And his ring entrances are, bar none, the greatest ever.
Yeah, legendary.
Yeah.
That's
without
incredible,
question,
man. So, hey, Elijah, where can we watch the
show? It's going to be on A&E. I'm not sure the times yet. They kind of switched the times, but it's usually Sundays on A&E. But coming up, when it comes up and we start promoting it more, I'll definitely shoot you guys the link and shoot you guys all the
Yeah.
advertising for
What
it.
about the
Very cool.
previous seasons? Can we watch those?
Oh yes, they're all on A&E. So if you have the A&E app, or if you go
Okay.
back on Hulu, anything that streams the A&E, basically you can go back and find them. But the
Cool.
show's called WWE LFG.
Awesome. Awesome.
Gotcha.
All right. Well, I guess what I was going to say here was a lot has transpired since we last talked, all of us collectively, and a lot has transpired, especially since I guess the last time we had David on as well, and yeah, man, ISO extremes are everywhere now. I think we could say that. It's safe to say that everybody
I
now is
well,
offering a free course on it
Yeah.
or a book on it.
They're new again. They're new
Yeah, they're
again.
new
Yeah.
again. Yeah.
Yeah. And
What were
and
we gonna say, David?
people have found a better way somehow. So
Apparently,
yeah.
and I think the more accurate statement would be isometrics that are inaccurately referred to as extremes.
how do you
Yeah.
feel
Yes.
about that, David?
I think that, like anything else, whenever things get brought to the masses and information is shared from one individual to another, like the game of telephone, the information gets compromised and there become more and more inaccuracies with that information. And so eventually it becomes the blind leading the blind.
You know,
Right.
I agree with that. I say that I'm glad to see the system and the concepts at least getting out there and people being interested in learning. I think that's a positive. I think one of the things that when we started this show, our objective was to try to help bridge the gap with people, to help look at bring a different style of training, so to speak, to people. And I mean, we even brought Jay on the show. And I think, for the record, I think we're the only people to ever have done that. One of the things that I told Jay was at the end, if you listen, I remember it vividly, was like, we want to continue to carry this legacy on for you and continue to, um, help what you have created and build. And so there are some positive in seeing more and more people accepting this as a way of training rather than just moving weights. But I do agree with you 100%, David, that it's like a game of telephone, and there's a lot of bad information out there, and I
There's a
think we need
lot.
to
Yeah.
try to clean that up as best we can.
Well,
I think the there's positive intent behind it, but like anything else, it's you can't disrupt the integrity of how it's designed to be applied
right.
and the process and the stages of it. And what happens is if you compromise that aspect, then not only are you not able to get the magic that could potentially occur from integrating it appropriately, but in the process you can create additional compensation and that can be disruptive towards performance and not create the optimal effects that you're looking for and then kind of discredit the system to a certain extent. People can then go back and say, yeah, I incorporated it this way. And, we incorporated a cycle of it here and there in these situations. But you're trying to be cute and you're trying to outsmart the brilliance of it. And when you do that, you aren't able to truly experience the benefits and the potential upside associated with it and and exactly what makes it special.
Elijah, I mean, jump in at any point, man. Like, I mean, I don't know if you've been following it as closely as we have, because I mean, you're not really in our industry. You're you've done this style of training forever. I mean, have you? I don't know. What are your thoughts on that? I feel like you have. If anybody has come close to mastering the system, it's you.
Yeah, I mean, I would say the biggest thing is just with everybody that sees me do it has an idea in their head of what it is already because I do them so much around. People are always asking constantly, like, what do you do lifting wise? And whenever I'm lifting in the gym where everybody else is at, everybody's always asking me questions about exactly what it is. And then you show them, but they'll do a part of it, but they won't do the whole thing. They might do one exercise that they feel like they're good at and kind of do that one, but they won't ever kind of do the whole thing. So it's hard even when you show people and tell them why them fully understanding that it has to be this way and it has to be a certain way. You have to do it the right way, or you're not getting everything out of it. So more than anything, I'm not. Fortunately, I guess probably because I don't have to. I don't have to try to, or not even try to get people to do it with me. It's not of my concern if they do it or not, as opposed to you guys. So I'm kind of like, okay, I'm just telling you the way it is, more so. But it's very interesting. People who try it, they feel it at first. They say they understand it, but then don't want to do it again, or want to change it up when it's time to do. You know what I'm saying? When it's time to do that for the third day consecutively, or when they see me do something else and they say, "Can I try that?" And I'm like, "Well, I don't want you to try that with me because I don't want you to get hurt." You know what I'm saying? When you do it with me, because it may seem like I'm doing 100 reps of it, not two. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of difficult to explain to people in that way. I always try to recommend him to David and say you probably can get a clearer answer from him. But I know a lot of people aren't willing to really go to that level. So it's kind of like I can show you the water, but I can't make you drink it.
Yeah. Can we go back, Elijah, to a story you told us on the first time we were on this podcast? And because I wanted to kind of lead us down other questions and other things that I want to bring up. And that is, let's kind of go back to what you mentioned when you were, I think you were in the NFL at the time, and it was during COVID, and all you had done for like a whole year was train with David.
Yes.
Right? That you had only trained with David, and you're kind of worried about your weight room. I'm going to call it your weight room strength was going to decline. But tell us that story because I want that to kind of lead into some other questions.
And that actually even applies into now your time at the WWE working with the sports performance team there.
Oh, I'm
Yeah.
sure.
Yes, very much so. So I've come back. So by the time I talked to you guys, it was probably about 4 or 5 months after I started into wrestling and got in with them. So they have you have a lifting program here. So we come back and you have to lift weights 3 times a week. But it's amazing how I came back and was stronger than everybody, like just as strong or as strong as everybody there, and hadn't lifted weights in a year. None of my numbers dropped off, nothing like that, and I continue to do it whenever if I need to. They have a system, so I'm a part of it. And I can do everything just fine, if not stronger, if I really wanted to go heavier.
Right. And I think that David, I think this is it might have been you where I actually got this whole information, this whole idea, and that is, I think in the strength and in conditioning realm, we look at numbers in the weight room, and as they go up, we look at those weights going up like that's our preparation. Clearly, David, I know for sure with you, numbers going up in a weight room does not define preparation at all. So,
No, because the most impressive athletes in the weight room aren't the most impressive athletes on the field, right? Otherwise, professional, or high level weightlifters and power lifters would be able to cross over into any sport and dominate, right?
right,
Um, and so weightlifting itself is its own, I guess you would say, sport. But when I deal with my clients that play in various professional sports leagues or on a collegiate level or whatever it may be, right? Part of the obstacle and challenges that we face is their team obligations within the weight room and strength and conditioning aspects of participating in the team setting. And part of what I do with those clients is we go over those programs as they go through them, and so that they can understand the positioning required while they're participating in those programs, how things need to work and function and be executed so that we are not um, deteriorating our performance and our overall human potential that we're able to then apply and display and express on the fields, which is very different than the execution that is then, being taught to them by their strength and conditioning coaches or the environments that they're in and subjected to.
Right. Yeah. So in other words, improperly executed, David, I'm going to extrapolate from what you just said. Improperly executed, improper weight training just to make numbers go up on a board or something like that can literally deteriorate your performance in
Oh,
many
without
cases.
question. Without question. Because in the end, the objective is optimizing performance on the field or court or in the ring or whatever arena it may be. And that really has nothing to do with weights going up. It's about sending a clearer, more precise signal, sending more accurate information, right? Muscles lengthening and shortening appropriately at the appropriate time in the appropriate situation over and over and over and over and over again. Um, and that is what's
And
often lost in the preparation when it comes to traditional strength and conditioning, especially at the most elite levels.
Right.
and I'll say with from working from going back to some conventional strength and conditioning training when I have to when I'm in the WWE arena or whatever. Just the attention to detail that I have, like I didn't before, is so much more. Is so much more in detail of every rep. I know it means something because every rep that I do it the wrong way or falter in any way, it is shutting down my whole process or recalibrating my whole process to not moving my body right. So everything
Mm-hmm.
has to be so intentional when I'm in the weight room. So a workout, which a person might just go through and do and not think at all. The whole time I'm trying to make sure the right muscles are firing and the right muscles are lengthening and shortening at the right time. So it does. I will say it's almost helped in that. So like he's saying, anything that you do, the belief in this is anything that we go do, we're going to be better at. So it's like, I come into the wrestling, yeah, it was a transition, but it's just so much quicker. Even to the weight training, it's like the first week it feels weird, but then after a week I change and adapt so much faster. So even if I was strength training, I would do the ISOs to get better at that too, honestly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, though that makes sense. And as far as like being able to take something that, and that's what I meant by preparation earlier. I mean, preparation is supposed to prepare you. You want to use this activity to make this other activity better, the
Yes.
main activity, if you will. In this case, wrestling,
Yes.
or football, or whatever the case may be, or writing poetry, or whatever the case. It doesn't have to be an athletic event. So, yeah, So let me ask you, Elijah, kind of going back, which because we're talking about whether it be football or wrestling. How many workouts did you do before with David without ever touching a weight? Because people are going to see you on Instagram, they're going to be like, "Hey, Elijah, I saw you holding those dumbbells doing that ISO extreme." Okay, so so they're going to fuss at us and go like, "I've seen people do it. I've seen people hold these weights." How many workouts did you do of just the basic ISO extreme before you ever touched a weight?
I mean, it would have to be hundreds of workouts, and even if the weight, it's like weight that anybody can pick up. It's not 1,000 pounds. Anybody, a normal lady walking across the street or somebody else would see me holding the weight and think that nothing of it. But that the weight feels like a million pounds when you're in the right positions in the position for that amount of time and all that stuff.
Yeah. So John,
Well,
oh yeah,
I mean,
please,
in,
David.
in, in a
Yeah, yeah,
traditional strength and
yeah.
conditioning setting, right? What often happens is as the loads increase for that athlete, it's coming at a cost.
Right.
And that cost is the body, the nervous system is being programmed to co-contract and fight against itself. And the appropriate muscles aren't lengthening and shortening at the appropriate time, at the appropriate rate of speed, for the same amount of time in the appropriate positions. All of these things are critical, and that's why the majority of athletes, and you can go as far as saying 99.99999% of athletes out there that are incorporating weight training within their preparation are lifting loads that are far greater than they should be handling, because in order to move that load, they're they're creating discrepancy in the way that the nervous system is sending and receiving information, sending these signals, that in a way that isn't going to transfer to the field of play or the court or the ring, whatever it may be. Because if you have to muscle that load up, if you have to create these co-contractions to move through that particular range of motion that you're moving that load through, then that's going to come at a cost and you're going to compromise performance on the field. Now, there are some athletes out there in the professional sports world that, despite all of that, have been able to have tremendous success on the court or the field or whatever it may be. But it's also come at a cost. And what potential could they have, performed at? What could they have potentially performed at the levels, or they could have reached or obtained if there was a little bit more intelligent strategy and application of those loads? Um, I think we can all agree that there would be far reduced risk of injury. I mean, if you look at, I mean, and we've had this conversation countless times, between the data and the technology and the nutrition out there, right, and the recovery protocols. Still, every single league out there has a rate of injuries today that is far greater than they've ever seen before. Yet they've
Right.
got these multi-million-dollar facilities and these practice and post-game recovery protocols, and the off-season training that has really created a diminished return. And the fans are really the ones that are suffering. I mean, obviously the athletes, but the fans, they spend money, they save money, they budget to be able to go to these games, and they buy these tickets only to show up to these games. And half the time, the star player that they were looking to see perform is not performing that night, right? There's load management. I mean, it'd be like, you going to see a Taylor Swift concert, and you show up and you've got the t-shirt on and you've got your kids with you, and you're excited to see the show, and then someone comes out onto the stage and says, due to load management, Taylor will not be performing this evening.
Right.
Instead, Travis Kelce will be performing on her behalf. And I don't know if we
Right.
would have spent the same amount of money for those tickets to see that show.
Right.
But the fans are really done a disservice here, because in reality, sports is entertainment, and entertainment at the highest level. And if you're paying to see that level of performance on the court or the field, and you show up and that athlete, that entertainer, is not present or unable to perform at the highest level, it's disappointing. If you go see Training Day with Denzel Washington, you get to the theater and Denzel's not on the screen, you're going to be pretty disappointed.
Right. So go
Go
ahead,
ahead.
John.
No, you're good. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I was just going to, no, I was going to actually ask you that. I mean, just based on what David and Elijah have said, I mean, how many videos have you shared with me of, and David, you as well, shared with me of people holding 200, 300, 400 pounds in a lunge? What are they doing? I mean, no, I guess you could theoretically say, yes, you could do an iso extreme with weight, something like that. But what is the likelihood that the person who just picked this exercise up and is now holding 400 pounds, I don't know what the weights were, but all this weight, what's the chances that they're executing a proper iso extreme lunge and thus receiving the benefits? I mean, I don't know. You guys might have a better answer to that than I do.
I feel like a lot of it is pride. I mean, even in the weight room, when I'm in there, I find myself like, Elijah, if you can't move it a certain way, or if it doesn't move a certain way, then it's not helping you anymore. And I have to constantly remind myself of that, knowing while I know, because you see somebody in there moving all this weight, and you kind of like get that feeling like, oh man, he thinks he can lift more than me. But you have to realize, like, do not. That's a lane that has nothing to do with me. If he grabs me, he'll figure out very fast that there's nothing he can do. So it's like you have to like constantly remind yourself of do the right thing, do what you know is right. In when you're put in those other situations in the weight room, because like he said, if the weight is too much and you're not moving it the correct way, you're now hurting yourself, which is going against the reason you're in the weight room.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And that's great. And that's great to have all the experience that you had, Elijah, because you probably, again, it took those hundreds of workouts, how many, probably thousands of hours in ISO extreme positions to even understand, oh, I'm in the weight room. I've got to, if I'm going to perform a squat, I got to be able to do this and this. I got to make sure this is shortening, this is lengthening. I mean, you would not have even had the mind to have done something like that, probably say back in high school or something like that. I mean, I sure didn't.
The only
And
thing you
so,
know is just get the weight up. Like it doesn't
right,
matter how you do it, you just get the weight up, literally.
right. So anyway,
I
that's
mean,
just
Elijah, I believe you had just recently told me that one of your coaches at the WWE had mentioned to you that by the way that you were moving around this 400 or 500 pound load, he felt that you would comfortably be able to. I think it was the squat
Yes.
well over 700 pounds.
Yes. So they never seen me like squat heavy before. Anytime I go 315, 350, but I always do them fast down, fast up.
mm-hmm,
So recently he's changed my thing. He wanted me to see if I can get a little higher. So I went and I think I ended up around like 495, 500. And I did the reps so fast and I got them done. I was like, was that straight? He was like, bro, you could do 700 pounds. He was like, I'm good. I don't need to see any more. I think you kind of like, I think I proved the point. Like I can do it. It's just, is it going to be beneficial to me in wrestling? Because I don't care about the number. It's about the way I perform. How do I move? How do I look in this profession more?
right,
Because in reality, right, that 500, that 600, that 700 pounds actually isn't enough load to actually transfer over to the field of play, because in a fraction of a second of ground contact, a single leg is forced to absorb 800+ pounds in a fraction of a second. So how the fuck is you moving a 4, 5, 6, 700 pound load that's taking you more than a fraction of a second on both legs going to actually transfer effectively to the field of play or the court? It's not.
right.
And it's going to
The
come at a
timing doesn't work.
cost.
Right,
One of the things that I think people struggle and have a hard time wrapping their head around is if you try to explain everything we just talked about for the last 15, 20 minutes, if you try to explain that to the average mom or dad who's just trying to get their 14-year-old, 15-year-old spot on the high school team, help them get better, those concepts don't make sense. And there's so much just consistent information of, well, I know if I'm getting stronger, then I'm getting better. How do you communicate this to somebody and to a younger athlete? Like,
Well, I'll tell you the number one thing David has said to help me with that is like your body can't tell the weight you lift on the number. Like the number means nothing to your body. And that was like once I kind of understood, I'm like, oh, so my body doesn't not know that that's 225. It just knows what the tension is on the body. It doesn't calculate that. So it's like I'm not even technically getting stronger. I'm just using these metrics that I've been taught to use to classify me being good or a reason for me being good. Cause in high school, I thought the reason I'm good at football is because I can squat 500 pounds. Now I know the reason I'm good at football is because I was blessed by God to be good at football. So, you know what I'm saying? It's certain things that you like, as I've gotten older, you kind of understand, but you kind of the weight room is your metric for judging yourself. It was for me. So I don't know how you get that out of somebody when it's taught by everybody that way.
right.
David,
Yeah, that, and I think too, at least with now with metrics other than weight. I mean, John, I think you and I discussed this on a previous podcast, and that is at least now we have pretty inexpensive technology that we can use to measure things other than weight on a bar.
Mm-hmm.
It's becoming a little more reasonably priced so that gym owner John and Chris and David can buy these things and actually get reasonably good measurements.
Right.
But even then, David, back to your point earlier, I mean, in sport, in real life, we have to sometimes absorb all these forces, and we have to do it very, very, very fast, and oftentimes on one leg. So I'm not sure, if even some of these other measurements, like they're still going to have their limitations as well.
Look, it's the strength and conditioning world and the fitness industry, whatever you want to refer to it as, is in the end is a business, right? And it's the coach's job or the trainer's job to try to have tools available to them to be able to upsell you and retain that client, and to sell their program by any means necessary. And the reality, though, is we have regressed when it comes to performance, because if you can't keep the athletes on the field, then you're not doing your job. And if you look at the metrics and you look at the fastest athletes today and compare them to the fastest athletes 20, 30, 40 years ago and beyond, they're not any faster. Now, there's more athletes that are fast, right? And are closer to that high level category. But in reality, Tyreek Hill is not faster than Willie Gault was on the, Chicago Bears Super Bowl team.
Right. Yeah.
um, folks were talking about, I heard folks talking about Jerry Rice recently and how he couldn't compete in today's NFL. But Jerry Rice was going up against, your Deion Sanders and your Darrell Greens, who ran faster 40-yard dashes than
Mm-hmm.
pretty much any corner in the NFL today.
Mm-hmm.
And
And Jerry
and
didn't have a great 40, if
and
I
and,
remember.
and Jerry had a 4.740, and
Yeah.
that 40-yard dash doesn't transfer to actual performance on the field.
He was always open. He
all
was always
receivers,
open.
all receivers are always open, Chris.
Yeah, well, well, that's one thing.
They're
But he
always
actually
open.
was. He actually
Um,
was.
yeah, I kind of changing gears a little bit. I don't want to get too far off subject. We can cover it at the end, but I think another term that's really thrown around all the time now is nervous system training. I mean, it is everywhere. I mean, half the people are naming their gyms, neuro gym, like Globo Gym or something, and I feel like there's a significant misunderstanding in what that concept truly means. And I don't know. I don't know where I'm going with that, but I thought that was just relevant to bring up that everything's training the nervous system, but what are you telling it, and what's the output you're getting out of it? Not all input's good input.
No, yeah, totally
Bottom
agree.
line is it's about sending the clearest signal, right? And information, the appropriate information at the appropriate time as quickly as possible, consistently, over and over and over again. That's what it's about. To create force, speed, whatever you want to, you know, use as the metric, but that starts at establishing the appropriate foundation. And if you even go back, and again, the system is based off of, you know
And that's what I think I'm trying to say right there is most people are skipping that part right there. They're skipping the
They
foundation.
are, and
Yes.
if you look at how the Shaolin monk warriors, right, would prepare and start, and that has everything to do with mental clarity, sending the appropriate information, and training the nervous system to be able to take on and overcome anything that it encounters. And all of which that what they started with was very long duration, extreme slow movements in order to create signal clarity and signal precision and efficiency that is not disrupted, and to allow the nervous system to feel safe in whatever it is it's executing. And in order for you to create this speed and power that you're looking to display, it's not about moving load, it's about creating the clearest and most efficient and precise signal at the appropriate time. And in order to do so, you have to make the nervous system feel safe. And that's the only way that it will remove those governors and that inhibition that will allow you to display that high level of speed and force production.
I think
If
that's a
muscles
go
are
ahead.
if muscles are getting in each other's way, which is what is taught in every strength and conditioning program out there, you're reducing the potential, and it comes at a cost, and the cost is you're compromising and creating compensation in these athletes movement patterns and motor functions that then not only lead to reduced performance but higher levels of risk of injury.
I love that signal clarity. That I love that. That's a signal clarity.
And I see, we've all seen it on social media where folks are incorporating these ISO extreme holds or whatever, but that's exactly what they're trying to do. They're fighting against what is supposed to take place because their ego is involved. They're resisting. They're holding on to a potential load and resisting the load. They're resisting gravity. They're not utilizing and sending the appropriate information to the appropriate muscles at the appropriate time to perform the appropriate function because the ego and pride gets involved.
And that person's
And
body
that's
will
when
always
things
they'll have a threat.
go ahead.
Somewhere there's gonna be a threat much sooner than there should be. As a result, that signal's gonna get messed up as opposed to clarity.
And then playing
And
the
and
devil's advocate here, how do these coaches learn how to measure that? Well, how do I know that this signal is clear and I can move on?
well, here's the thing. I think the advancements in technology and the data that we have access to is great, right? Because it serves as measuring tools to measure progress. But the progress that is being made is coming at a cost and nowhere near the levels that it potentially could be. I mean, the athletes that I work with that then go back to their teams within a 30-day period experience 25 to 45% increases in force production from their hamstrings or quadriceps, knee extension or knee flexion within a very short period of time. And we're talking about on the most advanced levels. And so then these coaches or therapists are coming back to them, scratching their heads, not understanding how is this even possible. But it all starts with setting the appropriate foundation, taking the time to educate and teach and coach these athletes appropriately, which is going to be very uncomfortable for those athletes. And it's going to require a tremendous amount of discipline for those coaches. And I hear it on podcasts now all the time, where athletes are being rushed through these progressions and these extremes or fundamental movements are the standards that are that are out there for the athletic advancements, the bar is way too low. And why is it too low? Is because they feel that it's too difficult to keep the athlete's attention. It's too hard. It's too uncomfortable. The parents are fussing about, well, so and so is doing this, and I saw this on social media. But in reality, is if that's what you want to go do, then that's what you go do. But there's a right way and a wrong way to go about it. And you can't compromise the standards in the process and think that there's not going to be repercussions associated with it. And if the athlete is too uncomfortable, or you can't make he won't, you won't keep his concentration or interest, well, then maybe that athlete isn't made for what he's looking to achieve, and maybe his goals and ambitions are just dreams that will never come to fruition, because they're not willing to put forth the necessary effort. Because it's not about what you feel like doing, it's what's necessary to be done.
Yeah.
And if the coach has to maintain discipline when exposing these athletes to it, and they can't compromise those standards just to rush these athletes through the process so that they don't get bored. No, it's okay if they get bored. It's okay if they get uncomfortable. It's okay if they're scared to come in and don't like coming in, because it's the thrill and the enjoyment comes from being successful. It's not from feeling good about yourself during the course of training. No, your training should be highly exposing. It should be incredibly uncomfortable. It should be scary. It should make you anxious, and it should make you nervous. And if it doesn't, then it's not pushing those limits and boundaries necessary to create true growth and evolution for that athlete.
Yeah, Elijah, you mentioned that before. It's like, David, what we got today? Same thing. Same thing. Same thing. Again and again and again and again. And like I said, how many thousands of hours, or minutes did you spend in an ISO extreme position and still doing? And that's what it takes.
No, it's
And
very
and here's the
okay.
thing: when you feel that you have people are very quick and rush to thinking that they have a high level of mastery and understanding, and that couldn't be the furthest from the truth. And it's and you hear coaches out there saying, okay, just figure out how to accumulate this time, however many attempts it takes, and ease into it, or whatever it is. And that couldn't be further from the truth, right? And as Jay talks about, it has to engage all of the pipes. It has to be engaging physiologically, intellectually, psychologically, emotionally, spiritually. It has to be to that depth, which requires all of your concentration, all of your focus, which means you can't have random conversations during the course of your preparation. It means that you can't be nodding your head and bobbing your head and listening to music during the course of it, or dancing around or joking. Like, it requires all of your attention and focus, because you are literally reprogramming the software within the hardware with everything that you're doing, with every thought, with every breath, with every movement. It's that serious and it's that detailed. And you'll hear a lot of folks out there talking about, no, just get it done. Well, no, because that comes at a cost. And that cost is you not putting forth the performance and expressing and displaying to the level in which that you desire to compete at.
And I could piggyback a little bit off of what he said, but just the awareness of everything, especially at if the people you're training want to be at that highest level, whether that's the NFL, the NBA, or even WWE. It's just everything is so much attention to detail, and one like mess up of detail could lose you the game, could tailor off your season or get you hurt in WWE or mess up a huge match that millions of people are watching. It's just so much attention to detail, and the attention to detail that I have now from this, I can feel it carry over in everything that I do. When I'm in there, remembering stuff, I have to now remember lines and go out there and talk, and then also wrestle after, and then you don't know what you're gonna have to do after, and it's just the always being on, and anything that happens, I'm able to adapt to it. A certain thing come up in a match where I'm not sure about the move of trusting my body of wherever it goes, and it's like if you want to be at the highest level, you have to function like that. And I feel like I understand, even the more I get into other things, I understand why this is so good, because I can feel how it helps me in so many different avenues, just in life as well. It's just like I'm on when I'm on. It's like I can do whatever is needed of me, and I feel like it's hard to fake that feeling.
Yep. In the zone. Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And unless you're a practitioner or a coach that has lived it and experienced it themselves on a daily and continue to on a daily basis, you have no way of coaching it and teaching it appropriately.
Great point.
I don't have anything to add to that.
And if hypothetically speaking, right, let's say you're an athlete that has been able to successfully execute a 5-minute extreme on a particular exercise, and that was yesterday or the day before. Well, today you're back to square one. And unless you can display that over and over and over and over uncompromised, and what people don't realize is once you are able to achieve, let's say, 5 minutes of each of these prescribed movements, you're just getting started. You're just in the beginning phases of starting to figure out what's actually supposed to be taking place, why it's supposed to be taking place, and what you're supposed to be feeling. And in actuality, the more advanced you become, the more difficult and challenging it becomes, because there become more and more and more minute details and a higher level of understanding and presence and awareness and execution that you demand of yourself and expect of yourself. And it's that serious. And it can't be when you feel like doing it, or it can't be, well, I didn't get much sleep last night, or my nutrition wasn't optimal, I didn't get enough protein or water in, or whatever it may be. It doesn't matter. You have to figure out how to perform day in, day out, no matter the circumstance, no matter the environment, no matter the situation. Otherwise, how do you expect to perform at the highest level in any circumstance or situation when you're, you know, on the court, on the field, in a boardroom, at school, in class, whatever it may be, in life?
Mm-hmm.
And these kids are coddled, right?
Yeah.
These kids are coddled by the coaches, and their and very much so by their parents. And it's about what they feel like doing, what gets them excited, what's fun. And that's not what excelling and performing at the highest level is about.
Yeah. Every time, David, just to your point, and you and I think had this conversation, the more we've tried to, put our little, if you want to say you know, our little method, kind of mix in ISO extremes or whatever with our method, or so to speak, the cuter we tried to get with it, we always paid the price. There was always consequences, and those consequences were never good. The more you try to mess with the system, you're going to sacrifice the end result, and that end result's going to be something less than what you should have had. So, I mean, it's like it's not
But
complicated. It's hard. It's hard, but it's not complicated.
here's the thing: people don't want to be uncomfortable.
Right.
They don't like to concentrate, they don't like to focus, they don't like to be consistent, they don't like to be disciplined. And the system requires all of those things day in and day out. And what it requires of you day in and day out is way too uncomfortable for most. But as an athlete, if you're looking to perform at the highest level, isn't that what you should be drawn to? Because if you truly believe that you can be special and compete at the highest level, shouldn't you be seeking out what is going to demand the most of you versus what seems cool or what seems fun or interesting or isn't as demanding of you? No, I want to be exposed. And that's what drew me to the system because nothing had ever exposed me to this level, no matter who or what I was training. Um, Everything else is, and this is kind of how I also like to approach it. You got to ask yourself, what do you feel like doing? And what do you feel least like doing? And more than likely, the correct answer is what you feel least like doing is what's going to give you the greatest upside and what is necessary for you at the time. The obstacle is the way.
Yeah.
What it is, what the thing that you fear most, the place that you fear going to is exactly where you need to go. That's the direction you need to head.
You know,
What is going to demand the most of you is most likely where you need to be and where you need to live.
agreed.
Yep. And I mean, I agree 100%. I don't, I'm quiet because I don't have anything else to add. I mean, you've hit the nail on the head with all of it.
And again, these kids are, they'll see these videos out there and we've talked about it before. I'm really pertaining to the Adam video with Jay, Freak of Training, which
Yeah.
folks are now reposting left and right and
It's
going viral,
everywhere,
and
man.
then incorporating, elements of those videos within their training, but not understanding the years and years and years and years of preparation it took in order to be able to appropriately send and receive the information that is demanded within those movements.
Yeah.
People want to rush through the process, but what they don't understand is just because you can doesn't mean that you should.
Um, and I think that's where a lot of people, kind of going back to what I was saying earlier, was I think people have a hard time measuring that. What is that measurable to show me I can do this now, or maybe I can, you know, land this altitude drop. Why can't I keep doing it? And I think that's where a lot
because
of
because
confusion comes in.
because sure, you may be able to land it once, you may be able to land it twice, you may be able to land it 13 times or 17 times or 36 times. But the reality is, when you're in life or the field of play, you're going to have to absorb that force hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of times, if not thousands of times, right? And at what point do you break down? Because everyone breaks down at the same place: high load, high volume, high velocity. That's a different place for every individual, but it will be one of those things that cause breakdown for everyone, no matter what it is, whether it's a sport or a business or a personal relationship. Everyone breaks down at that same very place. And the system is designed to push that out further and further and further due to a more efficient and prepared nervous system for anything that it encounters. And the measurables are you are going to run faster, you are going to jump higher, you are going to change direction quicker, and you're going to recover faster. And I've got professional athletes that literally um, will get off the field or the ice and go right into training after a game or practice, and then will be frustrated with their teammates because they're all complaining about how tired or exhausted or sore and achy they are. And that has everything to do with not being prepared to take on the demands of what they're looking to take on.
Mm-hmm. Chris, you got anything else
The
you want to
game,
add
the
here?
Yeah,
game, the game should be the game should be the easy part
yeah. No, I mean
if you're
it's
appropriately prepared.
the the system is simple, which I think is what makes most people bored. Yet it's very, very, very difficult in that the challenges that it, it's challenging to the point that most people will not will not accept it,
Because
and
it's
that's
too revealing, Chris. It's
it's
too
too revealing.
revealing.
And now they
It's too
become
exposing. It's too revealing. It makes them feel too vulnerable. It
yes,
exposes their ego and their pride. And they don't like that, Chris, because they like
right,
to go into the weight room and feel strong and accomplished. They don't want to be
right,
exposed. But what they don't realize is you're only as strong as your weakest link.
yeah,
And
and
that's
that
what
yeah,
you're always going to default to.
yeah, and there
And that's
and
where
that's
you're going to break down.
yeah, it's crazy. Like I said, how simple yet how hard. It's like it is very exposing. I love that
Be-
word,
be-
and it
It's
just
it's exposing because it it's a microscope, it's a magnifying glass on truly the level of effort that you're willing to put forth for whatever it is you're looking to accomplish or achieve. Because you can hide in most other settings, but you can't hide in this setting. It will expose you over and over and over and over again if you allow yourself to go to where it is you're supposed to go in order to achieve the things that you're looking to achieve. And of course, everyone can figure out how to cheat or compromise, but that's going to come at a cost.
right.
And if you rush through it, it's going to come at a cost. And if your athletes don't feel like doing it, it's going to come at a cost.
Yeah. No, couldn't agree more. It's it's very it's very revealing. It's very like I said, exposing. Everything. It's. I mean, I can't tell you how many people I've seen just cry, just absolutely just drop to tears. 'Cause it's like it's that intense. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, John, John, I know you've seen that too. It's like it's crazy.
Yeah, absolutely. I had a kid break down the other day.
And as
In here.
before rushing into progressing to load, more appropriately is incorporating a device, let's say like the ARP Wave, to incorporate within the training to truly, truly, truly optimize the way that the nervous system functions, the way that muscles lengthen and shorten and are able to efficiently and effectively absorb force, to locate where the dysfunction and the compromises are, where the deficiencies are. Because that's what it's about, right? It's about exposing all of your vulnerabilities so that you can actually do something about them. Otherwise, you're sweeping it under the rug. And eventually it'll expose itself because someone will look under the rug eventually.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, no, we're coming up here on closing time on this, but yeah, you got anything else you want to add, Elijah? You got anything you want to add as we wrap this up?
No, I would just say, for the kids that you're training, man, just let them know that the opportunity they have to have somebody who knows about this stuff. I really wish I had in high school, high school or college, because what it can do for you as far as like getting ahead of everybody else, those problems that everybody else runs into. Because like he's saying, you're gonna run into them eventually. I was injury free and all this, but then my ankle went bad in high school, and then all this, and I think about all the time I missed now, looking back at my football career, and it's like I'll never let that happen in my career. Now I don't want to miss. I want to be there for everything. I want to be the person you can rely on because availability is the best. It's nothing. It's a superpower nowadays. So if you could
Right.
just be available, you're the eventually your opportunity is going to come because even if the person's in front of you, he's going to get hurt. So if you could just be available and be ready for your opportunity, I would preach that to the kids and just tell them to trust the process because trust me, it works. And if you want to see results, like he said, just anything that you want to be better at, if you continue to and you rely on this and you give 100% to this, you will see exponential growth in anything that you put your mind to after. It doesn't matter if that's whether you want to run faster, play football better, play basketball better, whatever it is. It will help you towards that if you do and put 100% of yourself into it. I'm 100% telling you, you will get better at whatever it is you're doing. You just have to trust the process.
It's great.
And the sooner and younger you start, the better.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, guys, this has been great. It was great to catch up. We got to do this a little more frequently. It's been a minute. It's been too long.
Yes,
So,
sir.
yeah, man. Well, that's all I got for you today. I think that's plenty for everybody listening. I would encourage you to probably listen to this 2 or 3 times. Um,
I mean, if if you're an athlete out there trying to emulate these rebounds or altitude drop type movements, in 99.9% of cases, you have no business doing them because you are not appropriately prepared for them. And you haven't spent enough time developing the necessary components and recalibrating the nervous system and allowing yourself to function appropriately in order to send and receive the appropriate information at the appropriate time to get what you're supposed to get out of it without it coming at a cost that will eventually expose itself down the line.
it's a great note to end on. Guys, great talking to you. Guys, if you got value out of the show, you know the deal. Share the show. We appreciate you guys. Love you guys.